Hey everybody, welcome back to Suck Less Saturday. It's Neil and Stephanie, and we're still talking about all of the fun stuff and some of the basics. We got some interesting ones to you. What's your New Year's resolution?
You need a shot timer because that which gets measured gets worked on. The Range Tech Timer is the official timer of active self-protection because it is versatile, reliable, feature-rich, and very economical. Check out all it can do at the link below.
Steph, thanks for joining me again. This has been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed all of these. We're going to do a whole lot more of these. But with the holidays and everything going on right now, we were talking about resolutions and what we're going to do in 2022. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Never even thought I'd be alive in 2022. So that's pretty cool. But what kind of resolutions do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I don't know if this is going to be posting right before January 1st, right after January 1st, but you know, trying to decide you're going to be a better whatever is pretty common. So we thought we'd take some time and break down some ideas, maybe give you some resources. I think I'm going to make my resolution. This is probably going to sound silly since we're doing it, you know, on a channel that we talk about dry fire, but I have not been nearly as consistent or effective in my dry fire as I've wanted to be over the last year. I can make every excuse in the book, and honestly, in my case, I think they're more reasons, not excuses, but maybe a little of both. I would like to be a little more consistent and effective in that practice.
So I think that there probably aren't very many people that are watching that will watch this that'll say, yeah, I dry fired as much as I'd love to. Everybody
I'm sure
says
a few,
I would.
I know a few of them.
For sure, and there's some out there. I know some absolute bears that dry fire every single day, no matter what, and they're better shooters than I am, frankly. However, we don't get as much dry fire as we would like, as do a lot of other people. So talk to me, what are you going to do a little differently to make that happen?
I think to make it happen is just the idea of trying to come up with some sort of actual doable schedule. You know, I tend to have that all or nothing attitude, like if I don't dry fire every single day, like those people that I admire, and I hit it for an hour and do it well and do it perfectly, that I kind of shut down and have trouble doing it. Guys, that all or nothing thinking is actually a really sign of compulsive type thoughts, and it's really not good. I can't count the number of things it has sabotaged me from when I have inevitably not been able to do what I wanted to do perfectly. I've not been able to grow at all. So I have learned that I need to come up with much more realistic and doable goals, and also have forgiveness in there for when I don't do it perfectly, because slips and soaring and slips it's a part of life. There's going to be sometimes that you're going to be super motivated and do really well, and it is actually perfectly normal that you are going to fall right off the wagon and onto your tush, and you're going to have to figure it out. And rather than beating yourself, if you can mentally decide, hey, this is a normal thing and it's okay, and I'm going to stand up and dust my tush off and pick up from where I was, I will continue to be better and suck less than I did yesterday because I didn't shut down and stop. The goal, the whole reason we did this series, Suck Less Saturday, is because of this type of thinking. We're not trying for perfection. We're trying to suck a little bit less. And if you do one dry fire session of 10 presses, and that's all you do, you still suck less than you did the week before. And then if you didn't do anything. Right? So that, I think that's going to be part of my goal. I also want to work a little bit more on reading more and bringing in more of those great resources. There's so much out there, and so many books have really changed the way I look at and process self-defense stuff in particular. I really want to do more of that. What about you?
Oh man, I need to suck less right here in my belly. So that's one thing. We've been working pretty hard. You may or may not have noticed, but we're a little slimmer than we were a few months ago. But that's something that's really hard for me. I tend to eat my feelings, and my feelings are big.
Real thoughts, Neil and Stephanie Widener.
So you know, we started the Noom thing. We brought them on as a sponsor, and we started that thing. I've really enjoyed that. I feel like I am down about 25 pounds. I know you are as well. We've, you know, the psychology of the eating thing, that's been big for me. You know, before it's like, no, I just absolutely can't eat. And then about 10 o'clock at night, I'm like, whew, that was a big day. I need a bowl of chips and some salsa and a gallon of milk. And if there's any cookie dough, I'd eat that too. You know, what I mean? So where now I'm understanding and I'm seeing some of those signs. I'm eating a lot more healthy, getting a little bit of exercise, not near as much as you are, but I feel like that's something I'm going to continue on. My other thing is I've got this renewable New Year's resolution where I challenge myself to get 100 hours of training every year.
As a student, not
As a
teaching.
student, yeah, not going out and teaching classes. Those don't count. As a student, I walk in there with my notebook to learn, and it's self-defense related. So medical, shooting, legal stuff, all of that kind of stuff, all of those
Mindset,
count.
yeah.
So
And that's a lot of training, guys. Sometimes 100 hours doesn't sound like a ton, but understand that is 2.5 40-hour work weeks each year of being a student. That's in addition to what you're doing as an instructor and teaching.
Yeah, and so
that's
this
a significant commitment.
Yeah, and so in 2021, I'm going to end it right at 200 hours, which is actually pretty cool. But man, this year I've got some great training. I finished up, I got my master firearms instructor with Range Master and Tom Givens, which, man, if you get to that point, the master firearms instructor class is fascinating when he talks about the history. It was, I am not a classroom notes taking guy, and I was scribbling as fast as I could. That Tom has put together a pretty cool program. I really loved that. I hit John Murphy's class again this year, the street encounters. Wow, that's fun. I can't wait to do that again. But I really want to challenge myself to get out of some of that stuff. I need to get some medical stuff. I really want to get to a Caleb Causey class, something along those lines. Would like to get into some of that legal stuff, maybe a force science thing, something along those lines as well. But that's where I am. I'm looking for 100 hours in the year. We'll get there one way or the other. And I just want to continue on and try to suck less as much as I can.
So I think the assignment for this time is to do kind of what we talked about. Do not start this January 1st, whether that was a few days ago or whether that is still coming, with these high, lofty, unattainable goals that you were going to beat yourself up and quit within 10 days. That is the norm of what people do for resolutions, and that's not how you suck less. That's not how you get better. What I really want you to do this time is think of an area of your life, whether it's self-defense. We become better self-defenders if we're better whole people. If we're feeding our minds and trying to read more, if we're working on diet and exercise and trying to be a little bit better physically, if you feel like maybe you need to work on some emotional stuff and deal with some relational things and baggage in your life there, what really doable and actionable things can you do? Come up with a reasonable plan. My tendency is to say, okay, I'm dealing with let's do the diet and exercise. That's easy. I am now going to exercise 30 minutes every day, 7 days a week. I am never going to go over 1,200 calories until I lose X amount of weight at the end. Guys, that's not doable. That's not sustainable. What you really need to do is say, okay, I'm going to maybe exercise at some level 30 minutes a day, 4 times a week. And that gives you a lot of grace there. You're going to be kind to yourself about what that means. Maybe that doesn't mean starting out and I'm going to run 3 miles a day several times a week. Maybe that means I'm going to go for a walk in the evening with my kids or with my family. Or maybe that means I'm going to dance in my living room. I don't know what that means, but it could mean something very, very simple. Maybe it means I'm going to really work to get 8 hours of sleep at least 5 to 6 nights a week and have a more consistent bedtime routine.
People do that?
Yeah, and sleep is actually a very important part of that goal. Maybe you're going to come up with, in general, I'm going to stay under 1,500 calories or whatever that means for you, but I also am going to not be frustrated on my birthday when my family wants me to eat cake. I'm going to eat cake, and then the next day I'm going to pick right back up again. Monthly date night with my spouse, I'm going to have a decent dinner and not keep track, and then Saturday morning I'm going to pick right back up again, rather than these not doable goals. So take some time and find a goal that you can consistently do for the entire year, that has room for mistakes, it has room for failures, because you will make mistakes and you will fail. Will, not if you fail, when you fail. What is your plan to continue on? And something that's livable for life. And I promise you, even if it isn't I want to be this at the end of the year, therefore I have to do this huge thing, and you quit, at the end of the year, you're not any
not there
closer to that than if you didn't do anything. Whereas if you're doing this just consistent thing, you might not be where you wanted to be, but you're going to be so much farther, and you're probably going to be able to do so much more the next year towards that goal.
Right.
So that would be my suggestion to you.
So I would add to that one thing. I would add, find yourself an accountability partner, and not an accountability partner in the form of the coach down at the gym that's going to yell and scream at you. Find somebody that you have a relationship with, a friend of yours, your spouse. Some spouses can't do this stuff kind of thing together, so maybe that's not it. But find yourself an accountability partner that you can talk to about this from time to time, and that can help keep you on track. And that's been one of the things with the Noom thing that's been great with us going through that together, is that we talk about it and we've learned the lessons together, and we've got to really see that and put some of that stuff into practice. And there's been a couple times I'm like, Steph, I don't even understand what they said in that lesson, and we talked through that, and it's been great for me. I have not done as well as you have, because I like Reese's peanut butter cups and nachos and all of that other stuff, right? And I struggle with that. That's something that I struggle with. But I'm making small strides. I'm getting better. I'm getting a little bit more in shape. I feel a whole lot better than I used to, and we're headed in the right direction. So an accountability partner, whether that's what you call it or not, is something that I would recommend that you go do.
That's a great idea. So yeah, take some time. What would you like to look like when you're planning your resolutions next year? Where do you want to be? In a path to actually get there, instead of a path to shit all over yourself and beat yourself up because you didn't do it. Let's find a realistic way to actually do what you want to do.
Have a good week. Suck less. Hopefully you had a great new year. Take care.